I'm flying.
This seems amazing. I am feeling out of this world today.
Oh my! I am so
It's
happy
great.
for you.
So, I'm adopted, like you. Oh my God, you disappeared. You went into space. She went into a wormhole.
And I'm
And you're
back.
back. And you're back. Was it like a 5-second delay? Were you in the future, in the past? Go, go, go. Run it, run it.
Having way too much fun with this.
I know. I feel like this is how the aliens look at us. Look at those people down there.
What are they doing?
Those two ladies are into themselves. They want to be up here with us.
They do. They want to return home to their native land.
Beep, boop, boop, boop.
Boop, 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 boop. Where's my
Fun. This is
light?
Monday morning. I feel like, did you have a good weekend? I was busy. I was busy.
You're busy.
Hmm. You,
Oh, there we go. Got my light. Hi. Ooh, got my light. You're busy. Yes, I was. Yeah, I did some new things. I enjoyed my weekend. It was nice.
you got out and about, I heard.
I did. I did.
Going on
I'm trying to do some
streets.
new things, go some new places, meet some new people.
Yeah.
So
I didn't meet anybody new. Oh, that's a lie. I just lied. You are a liar. I met
you
my
met
buddy's
like
friends.
the most important newest person.
Oh, I did. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. But I met her
I'm
today.
gonna get to it now.
I get to her day. Well, I met my honey's friends, and that was kind of cool because when you meet your honey's friends, it's
Okay, that's good too.
that is not as exciting. So I'm adopted. You're adopted. You've met some of your biological family. We kind of talked about a little bit.
I did.
So today I met my father.
What?
Kaya.
Do you see her?
No, I see space. I hear her.
Take two. I can make me a new one. Can you hit my fan, please?
Just bring her sandwich.
No, she's gonna go fix her sandwich. She can handle this. I have all the ingredients right there. Sorry, take it from the top.
My
Good.
baby has been spoiled her whole life, and now you want her to do it herself? What the hell?
Facts.
I'll fight for you, Kaya.
You heard your auntie? She said she's fighting for you. She's like, you spoiled her your whole life and now you expect her to do it herself?
Like today.
I'm not even apologizing. I'm gonna spoil all my kids, my grandkids, just forget
Oh,
it.
girl, who am I to talk? I spoil. My ex-husband sends me like Instagram stuffs all the time about like why you shouldn't have done this, why you should have did this. What kind of parent would you be if you did that? And I'm just like, I was who I was. I did what I did. We are where we are, and it is what it is. So
Thank you. And I'm
I
not
can't,
apologizing for it.
I can't fix it. And they're amazing. These kids are amazing.
Amazing.
They could be way worse. Anyway, back to the subject at hand.
Please.
Something is a something, so you better understand. Anyway,
Hey,
I
hey.
forgot how it goes because I'm older. But anyway, today I met my youngest sister biologically. We went to breakfast, and it was amazing. First of all, so we FaceTime just to kind of get some of the anxiety out of the way, and we did that a couple days ago. And I just kept smiling, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I just see my face on your face, and it's throwing me off. It's just throwing me off to see that's my face. You're wearing my face. How do you have my face? She's like, it's okay. Like, it's okay. She's the youngest, so my papa was a Rolling Stone right now.
Yes, he was. So was
There's
mine,
eight
apparently.
children that yeah, girl. There's 8 children that we have. Well, my one of my sisters she's just a private eye. She has found all of us.
Good.
A
I love
lot of
that.
them have known each other though for a while. Like I feel like I'm new over the last couple of years, and I think there's somebody else that's new. But isn't really ready to meet anybody. And when I met the sister that found me 4 years ago, I wasn't ready. I all the anxiety, all the fear, all I don't even know what like the your whole life you're not tied to anybody, and all of a sudden this person's like, well, you're tied to me, and I'm like, am I? Do I know you? Stranger danger?
Exactly.
All the things, but I can't breathe. I
Exactly.
can't. My big nose and then I sweat. It's just too much. Um,
Oh my God, I missed that, but are we talking about our big noses again today? I mean, it's just every episode, but I guess we acknowledge you. We thank you for your presence. You're a ginormous a presence on in our lives. Thank you. Bless you.
spotlight, take it in, people. I was
Woo!
saying the reason why I wear my readers as a headband is because when I sit them on my honker starts to sweat and then they slide. It's just a whole thing. So
Oh, I missed that part.
I just gotta put them up. Can I just the fit? Can we just do the yellow pants?
Wait, you, hey, yellow pants. Yes, it's matching with your alien
Yeah,
vibes today. I love it.
McCarthy, yes. Um. Anyway, so my papa was Rolling Stone. Never met him. He passed away some years ago. I think over 13 years ago or something like that. I don't really know the exact date. But one of my sisters found me 4 years ago. Uh, talked a lot, maybe the first day or two.
Found you
Told me about other
through.
siblings through ancestry.
Okay.
Um, I'm the only one that I know of right now that was given up for adoption. The rest of them stayed with their biological mothers. Some of them had a relationship with our dad. Some of us, I didn't know him at all. Never met him. He died before any of this happened. My younger sister, who I went to breakfast with today, met him a few times, but wasn't really present in her life.
Okay.
Um,
So he didn't like actually really actively raise any of them?
I don't know about any of them because there's older ones that,
Oh,
what I'm hearing, has had some type of relationship.
okay.
I haven't talked to them firsthand about it, so I can't speak for them. This is kind of hearsay. But I think my sister that found me was sort of close to him, and I don't know, in and out of his life. I mean, from what she says, I feel like they had a relationship, and definitely towards the end of his life, she was a very large component.
Okay.
And my youngest sister told me today, like she was 16, 17 or something, or 18, I don't know. But kind of met all of them at his wake. You know what I mean? So she's kind of known about at least 4 or 5 of us. I'm new to her. There's another brother that's new to her that she hasn't talked to yet. But first of all, I've always been the youngest. So like to be an older sister is mind blowing. Um, to again, youngest. I've never
Yeah,
been.
you're the oldest now.
Well, no. So I'm the middle. I think we got like 57, 55, 53, 52, 50, 40, 34.
So she's the baby you just met.
I just met the baby. Um, Again, I'm going to say beautiful, but she's beautiful on her own. But I just see a lot of like nose, eyes, freckles. We got freckles the same. Um, her spirit, her laughter, her type of humor is very similar to mine, which is again to see like to not be raised with someone and to know you share genetic bonding, but to see similarities is mind blowing. Like I'm just sitting here like this, looking at her, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm just taking it in. It's a lot. Super kind, super nice. My biological father was extremely musical, so just to tie in kind of where I would get that from. So that's been interesting. They're all musical and artsy in some way. Um,
Like, what does she do?
I mean, she was singer, into music, playing
Yeah.
instruments. One of
And
my
that comes from him.
It comes from him. He was actually quite successful at some point. Got a couple Grammys.
Oh my God, we talked about that because both our biological dads are kind of in that industry.
Yeah.
Not kind of, but are totally. And that was a crazy another similarity.
Was, but yeah.
Hmm?
I said mine has passed away, so mine was, yours is. But
Yeah.
the musical part, so because I love to sing, I love to act, and my middle daughter has that very much. And I told her the other day, I'm like, you get that from my biological dad, which I've never met, don't ever know, but I know that it's an attribute. So 'cause she loves acting, singing, all that stuff, just
Dancing.
musically. We talked most about ourselves, talked about trauma.
Mm.
Um,
You went deep.
we went a little deep, but I think that sometimes that ties, it's just you have to, what I've learned in my older life is I connect with people that have been through something very deeply more than people who are like, even if they have been through something, they're like, oh, my life is perfect and I don't know anything about that. I can't vibe. I don't even know how to show myself because if you don't understand failure or flaw, or you have accepted that you have failures or flaws, I don't know what we would even talk about.
Right.
So I feel like when you do that, you kind of go in. So we kind of went in, she talked more. We both talk a lot, which is funny because to have to reel myself in with somebody that also talks in and then to be the quiet one, I was like, don't talk, don't talk, don't talk. Because I wanted her to talk. I was trying to be the older sister and and I'm like, yeah, oh, no, nope.
Love
Really?
it.
And just listen. And not to say I'm not capable, but when you bond or when you vibe or when you feel the same energy or when you're in a moment, you want to be like, me too. And you want to, that kind of thing. So
I'm so
just,
guilty of that. Yes. I'm always breaking in, just like I have to connect right here. Like I know what you're talking about. Yes, I
and
get
I
it.
think that you should. I mean, I feel like there's times where it's okay to be like interjection, and there's times when you should just listen. And I've had to learn that over time because I have been told by many friends and family, it's like, you don't ever listen. And I'm like, no, I am listening. I'm ADD, I'm ADHD. I can jump in, but I just have things I want to say too. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um,
You guys just really, really connected. Like she felt like family, familiar.
she felt like family. And then she felt like family. I hugged her and I I'm such a rescuer. I want to save her from the world. But I mean, she's older. She's 34. She doesn't need me to rescue her. What she needs is stability. It's the same thing I need. And just because there's 15 years or whatever, 16 years apart, it's the same thing. Like
Mm.
she needs the same. I need stability in my life. If you're coming in, stay in or at least be consistent. If you don't want to play the role you're playing, find a different role, but stay.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
Aw.
it was nice. It was, and so I called another sister, my other younger sister who's 40, who kind of is like again the mastermind. She's found all of us. And I just wanted her to, because when I first met her, I wasn't ready. I was broken, I was battered, I was bruised, I was hurting, I was picking the pieces of my life up. And that was just, I was overwhelmed. I was like, wait, what? Who? Wait, I'm what? Okay. We have the same dad. I don't even have a dad, but the same person, my sperm donor is your father. And, I just couldn't. I mean, I talked to her a few times and then it fades off as it does in adoption or when you are not tied into your family like that. I mean, that happens with biological kids too, but um,
Absolutely.
I went out to dinner with her like after like a year and a half or something. She'd come to where I'm at and we went to dinner and I still wasn't myself. I just had a hysterectomy. I gained 100 pounds. I was depressed. I was sad. I was lonely. I just couldn't get out of my own, but I feel like God had a different plan. I was supposed to look in and not look out at the moment. So my youngest sister kind of met me at a good time. I'm evolving, I'm changing, I'm happier, I'm building my life. I'm stable in certain things. So it was just, she got to kind of meet me where I feel like myself.
Yeah.
And I just also, so I called the other one and I just had her in on the moment. I just wanted her to, like, you did this. This is because of you. And,
Oh, she was probably very thankful that you guys included her.
she was ecstatic. She even like screenshot it, sent it to our little family group chat. It was like, this is the
Oh,
best day. Um, so it's surreal. It's surreal. It's surreal. Um,
Definitely.
yeah.
I love
It,
that for you. It's
yeah.
it's
I just was telling somebody like I don't have any roots, and he was like, "Well, I have roots, and I don't want to be tied to those. So who knows what's better?" Like I mean, just because you're biologically with somebody doesn't mean that you lived a better life. Doesn't mean it doesn't. Like it doesn't, because it doesn't. And
no,
so,
it doesn't at all. And I don't think that's the conversation that adoptees really need to start having and the world needs to start understanding about adoption. That's not the conversation. The conversation is that we have a right to know who we are. We have a right to know where we come from. We have a right to our identities in their completeness. Like that's the conversation. It's not the secrecy and the shame and I mean, some adoptees don't even get told they're adopted. Some get told they're adopted when they're freaking 18, 30, like who knows? Like when adoptive parents die, like it's madness. And I went to bed last night listening to some podcasts on, well, not podcasts, but like videos on adoption,
yeah,
which like you, I dip in and out because it's an intense arena for
yeah,
adoptees. It's overwhelming to go in alone. Sometimes like you need some backup or you at least need to know like I knew we were going to be talking today. I knew you were meeting your biological sister today. It was like, okay, I think it kind of gave me the safety to watch a video because then I knew I was going to have a conversation about it or be able to talk to you about it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But there
yeah,
is some interesting videos that I came across. Like one psychotherapist was talking about how she's not adopted, but she inadvertently was um she had clients, like over a quarter of her clients had been adopted at birth, where
okay,
their adoptive parents were in the room. So basically, like the mom, biological mom, gave birth to them and handed the baby to the adoptive family. Like it was like that instant. And she
yeah,
was like, but they're still in my office with a lot of trauma. And she was like, I started to wonder what is going on because she didn't come from the adoption world. She
yeah,
just happened to get clients that were adoptees. So
yeah,
she's talking about it from a psychotherapist viewpoint of like what's going on here because if you're not in adoption, you're not really having the conversation. And if you are in adoption, you're not really having the conversation. But she's a psychotherapist and she deals with trauma. And she was like, this is trauma. She's like, but it's not being recognized. And so these it's it's just so much information. It's good information. It's hard to process where we came from and what we went through without good validating information. And it's like trauma, like anything else except for the adoption. Well, the society at large doesn't consider that. I watched like three videos. One was a TED Talk, one was the psychotherapist, and another one was a lady who was talking about field records. And it's crazy what I remember from when I was growing up, listening to this information I hear, even just feel from what I've been through, and kind of finding the truth is, I don't know, it's comforting and also like angering, like at the same time because it seems so unfair. I know I'm rambling about this,
you know,
but
rambling. I'm listening. I'm literally listening. I'm just also just ate a bunch of food, so I'm lethargic.
you're digesting.
My body is going through something while, while you're speaking. So I don't feel like I'm not entertained.
You're like,
Literally.
I'm getting very comfortable here. Just
Girl, I put my leg out.
more.
I'm like, really?
But it's so interesting. I mean, the more you know, the better you can feel about who you are and where you come from. You have a right.
Do you know? Do you know the rainbow thing? The more you know, it was at the after school special, and then the rainbow would come across. I'm sorry. This is very serious. Is
Oh
it?
my
I
God.
mean, yeah, it
It
is.
is serious, but it is good to. to also not be serious.
I will say that it's funny because people think, I mean, nobody thinks about the baby. I mean, they think about the baby, but they're really thinking about themselves. The mother giving birth is like, I'm doing the best for this is going to be the best. So I'm going to give birth, but you're in labor. You're giving of yourself. You're really focused on pushing and like knowing in a second you're going to give this baby away. So they're thinking, not selfishly thinking of themselves, but they're thinking of me, right? And then because the whole time they're like, well, I'm doing this for the baby, but it's really what's best for me because I can't raise it. I can't. And they may say like, oh, it's best for the baby, but whatever. And it could be, I don't know. And then the adoptees are standing there like, this is our baby. We're so fulfilled. Our family's complete. This is what I've always wanted. But I think they just don't think that they think, okay, I can just come out of her and be placed on you and we're good.
And that's how it is it is that's how it is offered as a solution. And like you were saying, you don't know what's best, but at the end of the day, I think that again isn't really the like you're like it's just people are doing the best they can. And that's there's a tricky thing in there because for from 1940 something to 1990, I heard this lady say there was like some adoption secrecy code, like closed adoption, and they acted like it was to protect the birth mom.
Yes.
But now the reality is it was to protect the adoptive parents because really the adoptive parents were the ones in control. If you peel all the layers back and you really dig deep, it seems to me that what people are saying and what is really the truth is that it was protection for the adoption agencies and the adoptive parents so that
How do you
they,
feel about surrogacy? Because I feel a similar thing. Like you grow inside this other person with their heartbeat, their blood, their, and then you get given to the birth parents, I guess. I don't know what those parents are called, but because it's you're taking somebody else's seed and somebody else's egg, mixing it, putting it, implanting it in another person.
yeah, I feel like it's gonna be the same trauma personally. And the one of the ladies I was listening to said they're also coming to my office. So if you're donating sperm or if you're doing surrogacy, she's like, you're not making money, you're making a life. Just keep that in mind. And that life is going to come knocking on your door in 17 or 18 years, talking about, I'm your kid.
Because then
And
I
that,
feel like as a kid, you learn about how babies are made and how they're grown, and then you're like, well, we did it differently, but you're still from me and daddy. But you're like, but I was grown in this other woman. But like, even just think about the nurturing, what they say about just the heartbeat alone. So
and all the physiology that's going on, like all the chemicals, all the DNA, like everything the mom is feeling, the
all the
baby's feeling.
emotions,
And
yeah,
one really, huh?
yeah, all the emotions, all the
Everything. And they said one good way to think about adoption too, adoption trauma, is to realize most moms that are keeping their babies, they are having feelings of like anticipation and excitement, and they're preparing for the nurseries and they're so enjoy while there's other things going on as well. I'm not like obviously in pregnancy, but they're saying the feeling of it is anticipation, expectation. What is my baby going to look like? Oh, I can't wait to hold my baby. Oh, it's going to be an amazing day. I
now
just want to
the
have
other
my
mother
baby.
has to like keep its distance, not get attached, keep it separate, keep it an entity, not a loving. Like it's just to separate that. Even with adoption, I can't imagine. I mean, I birthed my three kids, but I knew I was going to because I knew I was adopted. So I just knew I would never inflict that kind of pain onto my, and I could have caused a lot more pain in their life. I don't know. I'm not saying being the birth mother is the best way to go. I knew for me, so I'm saying it's selfish, but not, it's selfish to a T, to a point, but not, it's not the whole thing. But I knew for me, I was going to keep mine based on my own trauma. Like, nope, I just, I'm going to give birth and I'm going to keep them. And I will suffer, not suffer, whatever life has. I just, and then I think about how attached, even when I was scared, crapless, like I had one sick baby and then I got pregnant again and I was terrified to have another baby because I was so afraid that it'd be sick like the other baby. And could I endure? Could I show up? And actually at the time was my ex-husband was like, we're just gonna, we're gonna do it. Whatever comes, whatever happens, happens. And I'm always forever thankful because my third baby is here, thriving and amazing. She started off rocky though.
She did.
She did. And so I just wonder about all of those things. And I, meeting my biological siblings, I am, similar traumas, but they stayed with their mother. Like you said, something you just don't ever know. You just
No.
don't.
And that's not, and that's again, it's not that it's different. It's just that it's unvalidated, it's unrecognized, it's not listed as trauma. The narrative is adoption is amazing and wonderful, and you just take a baby or a child and put it in a new home, and it's the answer, it's the
Your mother
solution.
chose you
And
and
then
saved
there's
you, and yeah,
a sub narrative, which is like the time, the era when it was like, no, like the birth moms, maybe ours were being forced in some kind of way. Like my story starts because my biological mom's dad was like, if you keep that black child, I will disown you. Like that's how my story begins. And she's what, fucking teens,
mm-hmm.
teenager. What teenager is like, oh, this is great. This is an amazing way to start this journey with this new baby. I can handle this all on my own.
No,
That no child ever. Like
yeah, no,
it's,
no.
and then there's adoption agencies who swoop in and are like, no, this is a solution. This will work. This is the best thing. This is the best thing you can do for your baby. And I'm not going to debate that because I don't feel like being raised by a teenage girl is always the answer, although it happens every day. Like, I think they have more family support, maybe, but then some of them probably don't. Who knows? Like, I'm not really here to argue about how people make it, and people do. Like either way, we would have gone through life, and who knows what would have had unfolded for us. That again, I don't feel like that's my conversation. Like my point is, I don't mind that I had an adoption journey. I love my family.
Yeah,
I'm good with that. I just needed to know how to work through the trauma. And if you're acting like it doesn't exist, because that's what the adoption community was doing,
yeah.
then you're really just gaslighting me and you're just denying me healing. And it's so many levels of denial
It's
and
crazy because I knew as I got older and people would ask me, or they would say, "Where are you from?" or "What's your genealogy?" And I'm like, I don't know. I could see that my adoptive mother would get more and hurt at the thought of me wanting to figure things out. And I just didn't want to hurt her. So it became more about her than it did about me. But that's also my nature. I, put more effort into other people than I do into myself.
but that's so
But it's
common.
crazy. That's what I'm saying. Like it becomes like you don't want to, like, oh, she gave me this amazing life. And oh, so let me not hurt. Like, but that shouldn't be it. It shouldn't be that these people who choose, especially a different race, I'm just being honest, if you choose another race, being open to them, at least figuring it out, like learning about, so I found out my father was from Chicago today. Never knew that.
Wow.
Um, I think she told me his name, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I forgot it. She
I
was like, "Yeah,"
believe it.
and I'd be like, "Who?" She's like, "Our father." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I don't know him. And that's the thing. I think everybody, she's the youngest, and everybody has at least met him. So I have not. Um, uh, now that I'm meeting them, does that make me feel more of a void? A little bit.
I mean, did he
A little
even
bit.
know about you?
Probably not. I mean, I think my sister that found me, mentioned something like, I may have another one or two. Can you find them, kind of thing. But I think this was towards the end of his life. Um, so maybe aware of, and maybe I made that up in my head. Maybe it's the story I tell myself, but I really think she told me that. Um, I will fact check that at a different time. But she told me something else about him that I didn't know. I mean, definitely a ladies' man or had the gift of gab or something. I don't know, because for real, my papa really was a Rolling Stone, and I mean, also in the music industry, having notoriety and fame probably brought more people around,
Yes.
and he could pick from the litter. I don't know. Um, I'd have to probably talk to my older siblings about him and to figure out real. But here's the thing: even today, meeting my younger sister, I don't really care anymore about the mother and father of it all. I just sort of want to be in the moment and get to know my siblings and have, if something happens to me, if my kids needed a body part, or I don't even know, or they wanted some familiarity or wanted to see myself in somebody because they missed their mommy. As simple as that. They could look at these people now and say, like, two of them called while I was at breakfast, and they both were like, oh my God, your face is my mom's face. So that was interesting. Um, yeah, she's a funny, good spirit. Even my oldest and her had the same tattoo, which was I was just kind of like, that's interesting.
Like, not on purpose.
I mean, they've never met. And so my sister was like, do you have, and then my oldest was like, yeah, and like showed it to her. She's like, yep, I got it right here. Almost same place.
That's so crazy because my siblings have the same tattoo as my biological dad too. And then when I met them, they were gonna